Hamilton is under pressure after a horrible qualifying. Verstappen sends a warning to rivals after a strong sprint race. Let's get into the latest F1 news. Lewis Hamilton has found himself at the center of controversy following a series of unfortunate qualifying sessions in Belgium. In a recent statement, he expressed his regret to Ferrari for what he described as an unacceptable exit during the Q1 qualifying at the Belgian Grand Prix. The drama unfolded as Hamilton faced a series of challenges. His final outlap and flying lap were both disqualified due to a violation of track limits at the notorious Radalon corner. This misstep plunged him into the elimination zone during the opening phase of qualifying. The situation only deteriorated further for Hamilton later in the week. After a tumultuous sprint qualifying session where he endured a spin, an event he admitted had never happened before, he struggled to secure a solid position for the main race. Hamilton lost control of his car, with the rear axle locking, causing him to tumble to the back of the grid. During the sprint race itself, his performance did little to inspire confidence. He managed to make only 2 overtakes, one on Nico Hülkenberg and another on Alex Albon. Starting from 18th, Hamilton's final position was a disappointing 15th, leaving him well outside the points. As the pressure mounted, Hamilton's aspirations for the Grand Prix were dashed again. His final attempt at qualifying was thwarted when the FIA scrapped his fastest lap time due to another track limits violation. The disappointment was palpable when he addressed the media afterward. He reflected on the events, stating, "It is what it is, just really sorry to the team." Hamilton's struggles come in a year filled with challenges and ups and downs for the entire racing team. As eager fans continue to follow the developments leading into future races, this incident adds another chapter to a turbulent season for the 7-time world champion and his team. Stay tuned for updates as the FIA takes necessary actions and Hamilton seeks to bounce back from this setback at the next race. In a disappointing turn of events for Lewis Hamilton at the Belgian Grand Prix, the 7-time world champion faced an early exit, putting him in a challenging position. It's unacceptable. Really sorry," Hamilton expressed as he reflected on the difficult day that involved intense preparation only to not make it through Q1. When asked about his performance, Hamilton was candid, stating, "I don't really know, but I'm out." This admission shows the frustration among drivers who invest so much into their preparations only to solidify disappointing results. Across the paddock, Ferrari's Charles Leclerc noted that while he drove a similar racing line throughout the weekend and utilized the curbs many others did, he found himself penalized. This raised questions about consistency and fairness within the rules. It's particularly harsh for Hamilton, whose teammate Leclerc qualified third, further emphasizing the uphill battle Hamilton faced. Ferrari had been diligently working on an upgrade to their SF25, following their challenges from the Chinese Grand Prix, where plank wear led to disqualifications. The team opted to raise the ride height to mitigate such issues. However, despite these efforts, both Leclerc and Hamilton reported that the car remained difficult to handle, especially concerning stability during cornering. In the post-qualifying press conference, Leclerc acknowledged that the upgrades provided only marginal gains, describing them as a small step in the right direction rather than a monumental leap forward. "It feels a little bit different, and it's going in the right direction," he elaborated, underscoring the fine margins that separate success and failure in Formula One. With Leclerc poised to kick off the race from third place, Hamilton's challenging 16th position adds another layer to the narrative of this year's championship. Stay tuned for the next race as Hamilton seeks to turn this setback into motivation. Max Verstappen's recent performance in the Belgian GP sprint was nothing short of thrilling. The reigning world champion faced intense competition from not just one, but 2 formidable foes, Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. The race was a true test of skill as Verstappen navigated the circuit while constantly under pressure. Right from the start, Verstappen showcased his determination, quickly overtaking Piastri on the opening lap. This early maneuver proved crucial, allowing him to maintain his lead throughout the 15-lap race, ultimately finishing just 7/10 ahead of Piastri. However, it wasn't a walk in the park. Verstappen admitted that he frequently had to drive over the limit to keep the relentless McLaren duo at bay. Despite his remarkable lead, Piastri was never too far behind, applying pressure consistently throughout the race. He had a brief opportunity to reclaim the lead when Verstappen made a mistake, diving too deep into the final chicane. This slip made Piastri's slipstream down the Kemmel Straight a significant factor, but Verstappen was quick to cover his position, showing his expertise in racecraft. The configuration of Verstappen's Red Bull car played a pivotal role in his performance. The team opted for a lower downforce setup, sacrificing some speed through the middle sectors for a significant advantage on the straights. This decision allowed Verstappen to excel on the high-speed sections of the track, particularly between Eau Rouge and Les Combes. Securing the lead was no easy feat. The Dutch driver emphasized that making his move at turn 5 on the opening lap was his only chance to break free from the chasing pack. From there on, it was a battle of wits, employing DRS and battery management as crucial tools to fend off the advances from Piastri and later Norris. Norris, who started third, initially lost his position on the first lap, managing to regain ground as the race unfolded. His presence added even more tension to the contest, maneuvering closely behind the leaders and ready to challenge should a mistake arise. As the race concluded, Verstappen reflected on his achievement, stating, "It was, for us, of course, a great result to get from behind and to have a win here." He acknowledged the high stakes and the tight margins that characterized the sprint, noting that every decision taken on the track had significant consequences. Overall, this sprint victory at Spa holds special significance for Verstappen, reaffirming his prowess and resilience in the face of fierce competition. As the drivers look towards the next challenges in the season, the intensity and lessons learned from this race will undoubtedly linger. Stay tuned as we continue to bring you the latest updates from the thrilling world of Formula One. As the Belgian Grand Prix unfolded, Max Verstappen showcased his incredible skills, managing to reclaim his position on lap 4. However, the tension was palpable, with the top 3 drivers remaining within just 2 seconds of each other for a significant portion of the race. A small mistake could easily have shifted Verstappen from the front to 3rd place. Verstappen acknowledged the intense pressure of holding off faster competitors, remarking, "You're driving over the limit of what you think is possible." He recounted a minor misstep at the final chicane, which allowed Oscar Piastri a glimpse of an opportunity at Les Combes. This kind of racing demands not just skill, but also impeccable tire management. The competition further intensified as Verstappen faced challenging conditions, particularly with the threat of rain looming overhead. A low downforce configuration seemed beneficial, yet the unpredictable weather created a dilemma for teams trying to strategize on their setups. Next steps include adapting the car for future races, while keeping a keen eye on the performance of rivals like McLaren. Interestingly, Verstappen's win marked the first time his team competed after the controversial departure of Christian Horner. This shakeup has raised questions about Verstappen's future, especially with recent rumors linking him to Mercedes. However, it appears that the situation might solidify his place at Red Bull until at least the end of 2026. As all eyes turn to the next race, it's essential to reflect on Verstappen's Belgian Grand Prix experience, both the triumphs and the learning moments. It's a reminder that in Formula One, every lap can hold potential for drama, excitement, and unexpected twists. Make sure to stay connected with us as we continue to cover every exhilarating moment on and off the track. Helmut Marko recently provided an update on Yuki Tsunoda following his disappointing performance in the sprint qualifying session at Spa. Although Tsunoda faced setbacks, Marko believes the young driver is on a positive trajectory, stating that he's getting better and better. In the latest sprint qualifying, Tsunoda struggled to secure a place in Q3. He finished in SQ2, watching his teammate Max Verstappen duel with the McLaren drivers for pole position, while he missed the cutoff by a narrow margin. He was almost 0.8 off the fastest pace, just 0.056 seconds shy of advancing. This near miss puts his recent qualifying performance into perspective, as he hasn't ranked in the top 10 since the Miami Grand Prix. Adding to his difficulties, Tsunoda received a reprimand for an incident where he was driving unnecessarily slowly, which violates the sport's regulations. This reprimand marked his second of the 2025 season, a situation that undoubtedly adds pressure. However, amidst these challenges, there's a glimmer of hope for Tsunoda. Marco's reassuring comments highlight the potential he sees in the driver, despite his recent struggles. He emphasized that while Tsunoda has shown flashes of brilliance, maintaining that consistency remains a hurdle. It's worth noting that Tsunoda didn't have access to the new upgraded package being used by Verstappen. Marco confirmed that Tsunoda will receive similar upgrades should he navigate the upcoming sprint race without incident. This development could significantly impact his performance in future races. With the season ongoing, fans and analysts alike are keen to see how Tsunoda will rebound from this setback. Improvements in his driving and the potential for new equipment could lead to a much-needed turnaround. Looking ahead, the competition within Red Bull is heating up, and the head-to-head statistics between teammates will be crucial in determining their standings within F1 2025. As the season progresses, the spotlight will certainly remain on both Tsunoda and Verstappen as they navigate the highs and lows of competitive racing. Stay tuned as we continue to follow Yuki Tsunoda's journey and see if he can turn things around in the races to come. This weekend, there's been significant news on the Formula One scene as Yuki Tsunoda welcomes a familiar face at Red Bull. Laurent Mekies, the former boss of Racing Bulls, has stepped into the team principal role after Christian Horner's dismissal. Mekies and Tsunoda share a rich history from their days together at Racing Bulls, and Mekies is firmly convinced of Tsunoda's potential to shine at Red Bull. Yuki is a fast guy, he stated confidently in an interview with Formula1.com. He emphasized that speed is inherent and doesn't just vanish. Despite recent challenges, Mekies highlighted the strong support Tsunoda has from the team. The interaction between Tsunoda and his crew has been very positive, fostering belief in his ability to tap into his full potential. "I'm confident he will show his true value in the near future," Mekies asserted, showcasing his faith in the driver's skills and teamwork. However, it's been a tough season for Tsunoda so far. With only 7 points from 10 races, he sits frustratingly at the 17th position in the Drivers' Championship. The pressure has certainly increased, and many are watching to see if he can capitalize on this supportive dynamic with his new team principal. In related news, the F1 community has been buzzing following Christian Horner's recent sacking. As the dust settles on this transition, Tsunoda has quickly found himself in the spotlight, leading to speculation about how this shift will affect Red Bull's performance. Yuki has also been active off the track, revealing he received a message from Horner shortly after the team principal's exit. It's clear that the stakes are high, and every move counts as they gear up for the next race. As we head toward the upcoming Belgian Grand Prix, all eyes will be on Tsunoda and Mekies. Will this new leadership be the catalyst for a turnaround? Only time will tell. Stay tuned as we follow the unfolding drama and Tsunoda's journey in the world of Formula One. The FIA, the governing body of Formula One, recently confirmed a reprimand for Sauber following an investigation into a collision involving Nico Hülkenberg and Lance Stroll during the Belgian Grand Prix. The incident occurred when Hülkenberg attempted to merge into the pit lane queue at the start of qualifying at Spa. As he tried to slot into a position between Stroll and Carlos Sainz's Williams, he realized that he wouldn't make it in time. Despite slamming on the brakes, Hülkenberg was unable to avoid a minor collision with Stroll's Aston Martin. This incident led to an emergency nose change for Hülkenberg's car while the session was underway. Stroll was not pleased with the incident, reportedly telling Aston Martin over the team radio, "The Sauber just drove into me." Race control was quick to note the problematic encounter, and it was shortly announced that a post-qualifying investigation would take place. Both drivers, along with team representatives from Sauber and Aston Martin, were required to meet with the stewards later that day. The FIA has since released details of the investigation's outcome. Sauber received a reprimand for the collision while both drivers were cleared of fault. The stewards explained that they reviewed evidence from the race director and examined video footage of the incident to determine what had happened. According to the race director's notes, any car driving to the end of the pit lane before the session starts must align in a straight line in the fast lane and exit in the order they arrived. The important detail here is that for a car to be considered in the fast lane, its tires must cross the solid white line separating the fast lane from the inner lane. In this particular situation, it was determined that no part of Hulkenberg's car had crossed this solid white line before the session began. Consequently, Stroll, who had already established his position, was considered to have priority. The stewards clarified that Hulkenberg should have merged into the queue only when there was a suitable gap available, which, as the evidence suggested, did not exist at that moment. This verdict underscores the strict regulations that govern pit lane conduct in Formula One, emphasizing the crucial need for drivers to adhere to safety protocols. As fans reflect on this incident, it's a reminder of how quickly the dynamics in Formula One can change, and how critical it is for drivers to exercise caution, especially in the pits. The steward's decision indicates the importance placed on ensuring fairness and safety during high-stakes competition. Stay tuned for more updates from the world of Formula One as we continue to follow the teams, drivers, and events that shape this thrilling sport. As the weekend unfolded, Car 27 was consistently under the watchful eye of their team, following instructions communicated through both radio and hand signals. However, this meticulous coordination did not come without consequences. An infringement was noted under Article 34.8, leading to a penalty being imposed on the team. In a surprising twist, a collision between two cars ensued during the race. It was determined that both drivers had followed their team's directives, resulting in an inadvertent crash. Dussing. The stewards assessed the situation and concluded that neither driver could be held predominantly responsible, hence opting for no further action regarding the collision. Meanwhile, Lance Stroll found himself at the back of the grid, qualifying in 20th place. His teammate, Fernando Alonso, faced a similar fate, finishing just ahead in 19th. It was a disappointing performance for the Aston Martin duo, who were left struggling in the shadows of the tighter competition. Hulkenberg, who had recently celebrated his first podium finish at the British Grand Prix, could not replicate that success at the Belgian circuit. He ended his qualifying session in 14th place, while his Sauber teammate, Gabriel Bortoleto, prepared to race from a solid 10th position on Sunday. Off the track, Alonso experienced a near miss during the initial moments of qualifying when Haas driver Oliver Bearman narrowly avoided hitting him in the pit lane. "I nearly crashed," Alonso exclaimed on the team radio, describing how he had to brake hard to evade disaster. While this close call caught the attention of the stewards, they ultimately found no grounds for a detailed investigation. As the Belgian Grand Prix weekend unfolded, additional tensions surfaced. The FIA faced scrutiny after a significant investigation was launched. An important figure within the organization responded to false claims made by FIA presidential candidate Tim Mayer, further complicating the narrative surrounding the sport. Stay tuned as we continue monitoring these unfolding events and the implications they may have on the championship as tensions rise and rivalries sharpen. The drivers jostle not just for position on the track, but also in the political arena that surrounds Formula One.